I am so pumped with my 1944 Hugo pick that I can't wait to talk about it because I am Daisy Ex Machina, the drag queen detective who investigates all things speculative in science fiction, fantasy, and horror. One of the reasons I wanted to pick books from the retro Hugos is to find authors from the golden age of science fiction that I had not read before, and I struck the jackpot when I picked Earth Last Citadel by co-authors C.L. Moore and Harry Kuttner. I'm embarrassed to say I did not recognize the names of these authors, even though I've read them before. But first, who are C.L. Moore and Harry Kuttner? C.L. Moore was one of the rare women writers from the golden age of science fiction. Like many, she chose to hide her gender for probably many reasons, but certainly one was because she wanted to be taken seriously. In fact, Henry Kuttner wrote fan mail to C.L. Moore thinking he was writing to a man. Moore's full name is Catherine Lucille Moore, and she and Kuttner eventually met, and I wish I could have seen Kuttner's face when he first found out his favorite male author was female. But they must have hit it off because 3 years later, they were married, becoming maybe the most successful collaborative speculative authors of the Golden Age. They frequently used the pseudonym Lewis Paget, which was created from combining their mother's maiden names. Now, here's where I actually have read them before, and I was shocked to find this out. But when I was in middle school, I vividly remember there was one short story in our textbook, the English textbook that held a bunch of short stories that the class would read and talk about. Anyway, one of the stories was a science fiction story, which I was so excited about. It was titled Mimsy Were the Borogroves, written by one Lewis Paget. So yes, I've read C.L. Moore and Harry Kuttner before, and it was a fantastic short story, which was made into a movie in 2007 called The Last Mimsy. The movie didn't do too well, but I liked it. Maybe it was because of nostalgia. I don't know. Anyway, Moore and Kuttner were a writing dynamo. They were very prolific, but their story does not have a happy ending because Henry Kuttner died of a heart attack in 1958 at the age of 42. 42. After Kuttner died, C.L. Moore, now going by Catherine Moore, had a brief career as a scriptwriter, but then remarried in 1963 to a man named Thomas Reggie. Now, I don't know anything about Thomas Reggie or what their relationship was like or about, but I don't like that man for purely circumstantial reasons, because after their marriage, C.L. Moore never published again. Was it because of Thomas Reggie? I don't know, but she was really a big deal among the science fiction community, and we know this because she was nominated to be the first woman Grandmaster of science fiction. But her husband, this Reggie guy, withdrew her name. Now, apparently she had Alzheimer's, but I can't help but wonder, couldn't they have awarded it to her anyway? I don't get the logic of why the award had to be withdrawn. Eventually, the honor of being the first woman Grandmaster went to Andre Norton. But I was stunned that it could have, maybe should have, gone to C.L. Moore. Okay, but what about the book? Earth's Last Citadel by C.L. Moore and Harry Kuttner opens with 4 characters getting trapped in some sort of alien bubble of suspended animation where they wake up in the far, 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 far future. Now, and I know you're going to roll your eyes. So let me preface by reminding you that this was serialized in the science fiction pulp magazine Argosy in 1943. So the 4 people that were in suspended animation were made up of 2 allies and 2 Nazis, and the Nazis were chasing the allies. The main character is an American named Alan Drake, a soldier who's on a mission to retrieve a Scots scientist, Sir Colin, out of the Tunisian desert. They are trying to escape from, yes, Nazis, or rather sort of Nazis because the leader is, and this is something that I thought was very unusual for the time. The leader is a woman, mercenary adventurer named Karen Martin, whose associate is a Nazi brute named Mike Smith. Now, if you're worried that this is a setup for some sort of romance between Alan and Karen, well, don't worry, that doesn't happen. There is sort of a romantic subplot, but it's not between them. Anyway, our characters were thrown, I think it's millions of years into the future, and they have to, of course, put aside their differences to survive. They have to accept that everything they know is gone, and in fact, the Earth currently is dying. And there is this really malevolent alien that was in the bubble or the spaceship or whatever that they fell into, who has come with them into this far, 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 far future. So we have a lot of questions. What happened to civilization? Why are there these abandoned alien cities scattered around? And one of them seems active, a citadel of sorts. Are there any humans left? If so, are they mutations, or are there any that are recognizably human? And who is that evil alien that's now on the loose? I really enjoyed this novel. I don't have anything negative to say about it. The pacing is good. The characters are strong. The story is original. Was it the best sci-fi story I've ever read? No, not really. I'm kind of surprised it was a Hugo nominee. I mean, it was nominated along with a Hermann Hesse novel, but I am so happy that I found these authors. C.L. Moore and Henry Kuttner collaborated on several novels and stories, mostly under their pen name Louis Paget, but sometimes not. According to their friend Al Sprague de Camp, their collaboration was seamless. It was so seamless that neither of them could remember which parts Moore wrote or which parts Kuttner wrote. In fact, they were so in sync that if one stopped writing in the middle of a paragraph or even in the middle of a sentence, the other one could pick it right back up. You've got to wonder what heights they could have achieved if Kuttner didn't die at such a young age. One more interesting fact about Earth's Glass Citadel: it was serialized in another pulp magazine in 1950, this time with fantastic novels. And I'm not sure I've ever heard of a novel getting serialized twice. Usually it's serialized once and then turned into a novel. And in this case, it was released as a novel in 1964. But I want to know what you think. Have you read anything by Kuttner or Moore or both? Did you also read Mimsy Were the Borogroves in middle school? I couldn't have been the only one. Let me know down in the comments, and while you're there, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Until we meet again, may all the books you read be blessed.